Bing-bing-whahoo! Mario 35 has arrived as of today, Justin.
It's here.
We have both tasted the sweet, sweet taste of victory, conquering 34 other players in Mario. But yeah, Mario 35 is available now on the eShop if you're a subscriber to Nintendo Switch Online, which I still insist is not that great of a service, but at least you get weird, quirky stuff every now and then. But of course, in the most Nintendo thing imaginable, this is only available until March 31st. Because Nintendo, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know why they always do this kind of stuff.
I don't get it either. For a digital thing, no less. Like, it just...
No, I mean, it's the same deal with Mario All-Stars.
Like, I can't think of a valid reason for them to be like, alright, cool, we're gonna unlist this in a couple of months. It's so baffling. But, yeah, as for Mario 35 itself, think Tetris 99, but with Mario, and basically 34 other players. Instead of placing blocks and eliminating rows to send more to your opponent, you're instead taking out various classic enemies and sending them to other players. Last Mario left standing wins.
There's also a timer. Enemies give you time depending on how you deal with them. Jumping on a row of Goombas in succession rewards a lot more time as opposed to just blasting them with fireballs.
Yeah, and the timer will also go red at a certain period of time. I don't know if it's based on, like, how long the match has been going or how many players are left, but either way, regardless, it'll go red eventually, and then it'll go down a hell of a lot quicker. In my victory, I noticed it was red on my screen, there's only one other person left, and I took the bold stance of just waiting, because I had tons of time despite being in the red. And I kind of figured from their screen they didn't, so I just stood there and watched as their time ran out and I won.
From what I understand, if you stand still for too long, though, your timer will go red regardless of what phase of the game you're in, so people can't just stand at the beginning of 1-1 and win by letting everyone else run forward and die.
Don't just go into the big strat of like, I took out a bunch of Goombas, time to just stand here. Won't work.
Yeah.
The levels are also slightly randomized. Prior to each match starting, you'll select the level that you've unlocked. You unlock levels through what I'm assuming is like profile level progression. The more you play, the more you air quote level up. And I think you earn those from that, or even possibly just like running into the one after you clear it or something. I'm not sure.
I know you definitely unlock it, or have a chance to unlock it, it seems, if you run into one. Because I played a match where I ran into, I think, 2-4, 3-1, and 3-2, and they all unlocked after I finished. But I'm not really clear on how you get to them in the first place, besides, like, I was in a match where someone had them, but how did they get them, I'm not entirely clear.
I'm assuming it's maybe a mix of both. Maybe you unlock them from progression and as well as just finding them.
Right.
If you get lucky enough to find one in that pool of them. So anyways, at the start of the match, though, the players all select a level, essentially. And once that's all done, all of those levels then will be put into a pool. So at the start of the game, it's always 1-1. But after you either, complete that stage or go down to a pipe or whatever and find a warp point. I don't think there is a warp point, though, in 1-1.
No.
You'll then get sent to a randomized level. In most cases, like, in my experience, like, half the time it's 1-2. But there is the odd chance you'll end up in, like, 1-3 or even 2 or 3 in terms of the worlds.
Yeah, I mean, this game's only been out for a couple of hours. So we're at a position where every match I've played, basically, has been 1-1 to 1-2 to 1-3 to either 1-1 or 1-2 again for the most part.
Yeah, the furthest I've seen so far, I think, is like 4-1.
I haven't gotten any World 4s yet.
I'm assuming in like a couple of weeks, we'll see stuff like 7-1 in the rotation, at which point I'll scream.
Well, I think it'll get really interesting, because right now games last a really long time, I found, and
oh, yeah.
All of my games that I've gotten close to victory, or my one victory, matches last for a long time. I think that's because we're all playing with an easier pool of levels. At some point, when people start throwing like 7-2s in or whatever, 7-1s, like, it'll be trouble.
Yeah, I dread that. But yeah, right now, like, the go-to meta is either picking 1-1 or 1-4 in the hopes that that first, like, castle section will, like, filter out some people who might not be all that great at those. I was in that camp for a while there, but playing enough of this has made me a master of 1-4 and how to deal with Bowser, so...
there's a bit of a trade-off, right? Whereas like 1-1 is really simple and you probably won't die on it. None of the enemies there are going to throw throw the other Marios for a loop. But like, if you take the risk and you pick a harder level, if you kill Bowser or you kill a Hammer Brother, like you're sending that to other boards. And let me tell you, having a blooper or a Hammer Brother somewhere where they shouldn't be, or even a Piranha Plant, there's been times where Piranha Plants have been placed right on the jump I have to make.
Yeah.
And it's a nightmare. Whereas Goombas and Koopas aren't really a big deal.
One of my favorite early on tactics was just to keep playing 2-1 over and over and over through the warp point. Like I'd reach the warp point in 2-1 and just go right back to the start of 2-1. And the reason for that was 2-1 is super narrow, and the combination of 2-1 and the fire powers make it incredibly easy. Plus, there's also those Piranha Plants everywhere. So I was just like putting down tons of Piranha Plants. And then when it got real rough, and there's also a good amount of coins in there as well, so I built up like a huge stack of coins. And when it started getting down to like the last 5 people, that's when then I was warping to like 3-1, stuff like that, or 1-4, or even 2-2. 2-2 in particular, those like floating squid things, those could throw people for a loop. I got 3 knockouts with squid things, I think. Because they go all over the screen, even if you're on like a normal stage. And I think those tend to like screw people up big time, so.
It's also worth noting that this game has the same targeting system as Tetris 99. You can use the right stick to sort of send to different groups. You can send your defeated enemies to people who are attacking you, I believe, people who have the lowest amount of time, which I started doing to sort of attack the weak, right? Like, they were running out of time and you send 400 Goombas their way. They kind of have to slow down to deal with that.
Oh, yeah.
You can send it to the person with the most coin, which is sort of like attacking the strong, and then there's random. But also with the left stick or the D-pad, depending on which control scheme you have, you can move Mario with either the left stick or the D-pad in the settings. You can change that. But the other one will then be manual selection. You can just select somebody to throw all your crap at.
Yeah.
And when you defeat them, you get a bunch of their time and a bunch of their coins. So there is sort of a looting aspect.
You can also press X to like hit off the roulette thing if you have enough coins. It costs about 20 coins each. That can either give you just firepower right on the spot, the fire flower, sorry, or you can instantly get a big mushroom, or just knock out all the enemies on screen. And I found that incredibly handy to just store up as many coins as I possibly can. And when it's down to maybe those last 3 or 4 players, immediately trying to find Hammer Bros and just like mash my roulette in the hopes of taking them all out at once, plus with all the other crap on screen. That tends to really screw people over.
No, I did the same thing. I had a big pile of coins when I was like the 3rd or so person left in this game because I had taken out a couple people, plus I've just been playing for 20 or so minutes, right? So I had a bunch of coins, and I would just go from sort of screen to screen and just kind of hit the POW block, well, hope to get a POW block in the roulette and just drop like 20 or so enemies on someone, you know?
Yeah. But overall, though, I think one of my favorite aspects is just occasionally, every now and then, watching like the first person run straight into a Goomba. Admittedly, my very first time playing this, I did the exact same thing, only because I pressed A to jump, which it isn't to jump, it's B. They go with the whole BY format for the controls here, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to AX. I'm used to holding down pressing A to jump, holding down X to run, so that threw me for a loop immediately.
Yeah, you can switch it to BA if you want, but you can't switch it so that the other set of buttons like Y and A are used. They're just completely unused, it seems. Which is strange, because other Mario games give you that option.
But overall, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's incredibly addictive, and I think there's a nice balance of just sheer skill here, with also plenty of luck in terms of the roulette options and stuff like that, or even how the timer pans out. But right now, though, I think it's the best time to play with the skill ceiling being as low as it is. I imagine in a couple of weeks, it'll be rough with all of the various worlds available, but at the same time, I think it'll be more interesting.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it progresses. I wish we had more time.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why they want to unlist it or something at some point, but if that's the case, that's a real poor excuse.
I would love to see them go in the opposite direction with this and just fully expand it. Give me Mario 2 level. Well, actually, I don't want Lost levels. I changed my mind.
Can you imagine Lost levels being thrown into the mix? Holy crap, that would filter the hell out of everyone.
Yeah, there'd be like 3 people left by the end of the level.
Going from 1-1 to a Lost level, Jesus. You just watch the whole board get wiped halfway through.
That sort of happened the one game I had. I think we went to 1-1 to a castle, and like by the end of it, there was like 4 people left.
I think my 3rd or 4th match, that's exactly what happened. Like half the board was wiped by that castle. But yeah, I think it would be great to see 2, 3, and World in here for sure. And I would even like to see this as a mode in like future 2D Mario games. I think it would be a great addition to like any Mario game really to have this as a straight up mode. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm loving it. I mean, I sort of have the issue where if you take any game and you put a tournament bracket or a leaderboard, all of a sudden my brain starts firing, and I love it. I want more.
It certainly beats Jump Rope. But have you gotten a first place victory in Mario 35? Let us know down below.